Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station, coming to you from the Nelson and Tasman region. In this week's News Roundup, MP says cycleway not an option without rerouting Southern Highway, feedback sought on Rocks Road options, positives and negatives in Regional Trends report, Council mulls ban on sugary drinks, local police hold open day, and Man Booker Prize winner is coming to town. Nelson MP Nick Smith is urging the Nelson City Council to integrate decisions on a new cycleway and walkway with decisions on relocating the state highway down the Southern Link route. Dr Smith says the idea of converting Rocks Road into a boulevard with proper cycleway and walkway is hugely exciting and will transform Nelson's iconic waterfront. However, this vision is only realistic from a financial, safety and design perspective if the existing state highway is relocated to the Southern Link route, says Dr Smith. He says the recently concluded study by Opus Consultants, which the Nelson City Council's Works and Infrastructure Committee was discussing this week, crystallises three options for the walkway cycleway. Option 1 would see upgrade on road cycle at a cost of $9 to $13 million with a loss of 37 car parks. Option 2 is a 2 to 4 metre wide shared cycle and walkway in both directions. The cost is $11 to $14 million with a loss of 83 car parks. And option 3 is a 2.4 metre footpath and 3 metre separate cycleway at a cost of between $33 million and $47 million with a loss of 23 car parks. Nick Smith spoke with intern Raj Agarwal further about the issue.
All right, we're joined by MP Dr. Smith here. Dr. Smith, we'd like to talk to you about the Rocks Road issue and the resurfacing the movement of the highway. Obviously, the Rocks Road issue has resurfaced again with a bit more steam this time. What is the latest on relocating the state highway down the Southern Link?
Well, there's been a very substantive report put out by Opus Consultants around the options for cycleways and walkways around the Nelson's iconic waterfront. They've identified that if you really want to do the job properly with a footpath and complete cycleway, you need to spend the better part of $40 million. The other options they explored resulted in huge loss of car parks as well as a pretty substandard form of cycleway and walkway. What this report really crystallises is the reality that you just cannot squeeze a good quality cycleway and walkway onto the limited space of Rocks Road when you've got 20,000 odd vehicles a day, 1,200 of which are trucks, using it as a state highway. My hope is that common sense will prevail. I'm a huge supporter for the boulevard concept for Rocks Road with a good quality cycleway and walkway, but the only practical way that can be achieved is for us to get on and make progress on the alternative state highway route, i.e. the Southern Link, so that the main traffic volumes to port and to the city are coped with on that alternative new state highway, then opening the way for a really exciting development of Rocks Road.
Yeah, and obviously not a simple issue, many factors that come into play. In your opinion, you mentioned it there, what are some of the biggest challenges in this whole situation?
Well, there's always been a tension around the Southern Link Road proposal. I've been a constant supporter. I met this week a couple who sold their home to the Transport Agency all the way back in 1964 for that road to go through. I see it very simply that we've had a long-term arterial roading plan consisting of the Richmond deviation, the Stock bypass and QE2 Drive, where we need to complete the third quarter of that route, that vital Southern Link, and that as our economy grows and as our population grows, it's just going to become more and more obvious that the existing Waimea roads and Rocks Road routes can't cope. I'm not into the sort of short-term tweaks that might be possible, but actually our community being honest and upfront and addressing this long-term challenge by getting on with that Southern Link route.
And of course, any type of change would mean a multi-million-dollar transformation. What would you say to the critics who feel the money is best spent elsewhere?
Well, I just think it would be inconceivable to spend $40 million on the existing Rocks route, on the sort of footpath cycleway option, when that is the sort of money that's required to deal with the massive motorway, which then provides the dividend of being able to use that space along Rocks Road far more realistically for recreation. I just think it is one of the most beautiful waterfronts in the world. There are already hundreds of people who fish, kayak, swim, walk and recreate along Rocks Road. It is always going to be a second-rate experience when you've got those 20,000 vehicles a day, and that's why this debate around the cycleway and walkway should trigger a sensible discussion about a long-term rerouting of that State Highway 6.
And this topic seems to keep coming up every so often. Is there any realistic timetable as to when any real change could happen?
Well, I'm in the headspace of sooner rather than later. People keep putting it off into the 10, 20-year horizon. My view, particularly given the local ambition to do more with the cycleway and walkway, my view is to use that debate to crystallise progress and for us to start engaging seriously about the alternative State Highway route.
Dr. Smith, thank you so much for your time and thanks for joining Mainland TV today.
Pleasure to be on Mainland. Keep up the great work.
Thanks a lot.
And following discussions at the Works and Infrastructure Committee, a recommendation will go to the Council meeting on July 17th for public feedback to be sought on two of the options to improve walking and cycling on Rocks Road. If approved at the Council meeting, the information going out to the public will also include the details of the third concept that has been researched but discounted due to an estimated price tag of between $33 million and $47 million. Works and Infrastructure Committee Chair Eric Davey says we're interested in hearing from the community on the two options that we feel are most realistic. He says one proposes upgrading on road facilities and the other focuses on off-road solutions. However, we'll include details of the third option, he says, just to give people the full picture of everything that's been considered, even though it's been ruled out based on cost. Meanwhile, intern Carly Danner asked members of the public for their views on the issue.
MP is urging Council to create a new walkway cycleway on Rocks Road, and in turn this would create a new state highway. How do you feel about this multi-million-dollar transformation?
They're crazy. I don't even know why there's a road around there anyway. And they shouldn't be building on it because it's just going to collapse. So, no, I don't agree with that.
No, it's not right. We don't want it going through the views and everything of the bay. It's better to go through the new way, or Victory Squared over that way.
Essentially, I've always thought that would always be the case. That waterfront is not exploited to its maximum, and the only way you're going to do that is take the traffic off it.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's right. I think they should leave it as it is at the moment. Putting a bicycle track through there, yeah, maybe a good thing, but to start digging out again, and yeah, no, I don't think they should do that. Leave Mother Earth alone, I reckon.
Well, it just depends on where it's going to go. I mean, I personally don't have very strong views on what happens to it, but I know that a lot of people do. So I'm glad that the decision is not up to me and that the right people are going to make that decision.
So if they placed a bigger cycleway and walkway on Rocks Road, would you use it?
Oh, no, nah.
Without it being a main highway, yeah, it'd be good.
I don't really know. I don't get out walking and cycling very much. I'm more into sort of running around, playing sport and coaching and etc.
I'm not really sure, because I intend to keep out of things like that, but if it's going to destroy the earth, yeah, no, I wouldn't. No, no, definitely not.
Probably not personally, because my work commitments mean I need to bring a vehicle into town, but I think it would definitely enhance.
This transformation would cost anywhere from $9 to $50 million. Do you think this is a good investment to make Rocks Road a more touristy attraction?
Essentially, that's pretty cheap. I think that's a vast underestimation. And so, as long as wherever we put that traffic, we're planning for the future, not just trying to play catch-up, because everything seems to be relatively congested at the moment. And for a small place like Nelson, why do we have traffic jams?
I think it's a waste. They do say that the teachers are going, that they need more pay and everything, so I don't know why they're not spending it on something like that.
A bit too much for me. Yeah.
I'm not sure it'll cost that much. No, that's a bad investment. That's a bad thing. I mean, look at our deficit. It's so high at the moment. We should focus on that and other things that are going on around the place. I mean, we've got a lot of, they talk about other countries, but we've got a lot of starving children in our place as well, that we should be, stand up and be accountable for and say, hey, we'll help you instead of 9 million. Come on.
Goodness knows where that money's going to come from, but it would be a good investment for Nelson.
The latest ANZ Regional Trends report shows both business and consumer confidence continue to lift across the Nelson-Tasman region during the March quarter, although it wasn't always translated into profitability. The recently released report also shows wine growers across the region were well placed, with grape prices and volumes up on last year's levels. Pip fruit growers also enjoyed a decent picking season. Guest nights lifted, as did the number of new car registrations, up 5% and 6% respectively. On the downside, retailers have reported lean times, building consents slipped, and unemployment rose slightly, but nevertheless remained the second lowest in New Zealand. Following the lead taken by the Nelson Marlborough DHB to introduce healthier drink options at all their sites, Mayor Rachel Rees has asked councillors in the Planning and Regulatory Committee to investigate doing something similar for council sites. Mayor Rees says, having met with Dr Rob Beaglehole, Principal Dental Officer, and Mr Chris Fleming, Chief Executive of the DHB, she believes they may be able to introduce an initiative for council sites too in a cost-effective and timely way. Mayor Rees says she's often said she wants Nelson to be the best city in New Zealand to grow children, and this has to be a step towards achieving that. Rachel Rees says she hopes council will encourage other councils around New Zealand to look at this important health issue. Dr Rob Beaglehole says they're highly supportive of the Mayor's initiative to introduce a policy where no sugar-sweetened beverages are sold on council-owned property or at council-sponsored events. In turn, Raj Agarwal asked members of the public for their views on banning sugary drinks.
Council and district health boards are looking at banning sugary drinks on their premises. What do you think about this?
It's not a bad idea, really. It helps prevent tooth decay in young kids and that sort of thing. Yeah, not a bad idea. Bit extreme, perhaps, banning.
I think that's a great idea, to be honest, actually. Yeah, it's going to help with teeth, it's going to help with weight.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but not around the local, around the businesses around here and that, because you've got to have a drink to keep your sugar levels up.
I reckon it's ridiculous. You've got better things to do than run around those sugary drinks. That's up to the parents. The parents should bloody know by now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because people have dental problems and there's too much obesity and stuff going around with kids. I've got 2 kids myself, so I just don't give them any sugary drinks. There's enough healthy food out there. And
what do you think about the government increasing taxation on unhealthy products to make them less affordable?
They'll tax anything that doesn't move, mate.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one, because it's a lot of low economy people, tend to go for those sort of things. So I can just see that actually hitting the wrong people.
Totally agree with it. For what you can get for like $20 at the supermarket, you can get, junk food. You can get too much junk food for what you can for fresh produce. It should be the other way around, really.
Well, it's sort of heading the right way. That's a bit more subtle to do it that way, yeah. The fact that they're very cheap and easily accessible makes kids easy to buy them, and then we end up paying the bills in the dentists and health and obesity and all that sort of thing, which is getting out of hand, I suppose. Yeah, good.
The month of May was a strong and consistent month of trading across the country, the Nelson-Tasman region being no exception. Figures just released by Paymark shows Kiwis swiped and or tapped their cards just under 90 million times during May, and the surge was especially notable for the first 7 days of the month, where spending was up 9.1% across the country compared with the same trading week in 2013. One of the factors that played a part in the strong spending data during May was that the month had 5 Saturdays this year, whereas last year only had 4. The Paymark figures for Nelson show the volume difference in spending was an increase of 5.9%. Meanwhile, the year-to-year value difference in spending was 4.7%. In May 2013, the value of spending in Nelson, Tasman was $76 million, and in May 2014, the value was $80 million. There was modest growth in spending across the country among department stores, appliance retailers and clothing shops compared to 2013, whereas spending continued to decline with the book, stationery and video sectors. Nelson and Tasman councils hold citizenship ceremonies from time to time throughout the year. Ceremonies are organised when the Department of Internal Affairs provides a list to council of candidates who have had their citizenship approved. This week, Mainland TV managed to take cameras to both ceremonies, which were held simultaneously, with Tasman hosting theirs at the Headingley Centre in Richmond and Nelson's at the Council Chambers in Nelson. Mayor Kempthorne presided over the ceremony in Tasman, and Nelson's Mayor Rachel Rees presided over the ceremony in Nelson. Both ceremonies were well attended and involved those being granted citizenship along with their many friends, family members and supporters. In Nelson, 20 people were granted citizenship after swearing their allegiance to the Queen and Crown to become citizens of New Zealand, with people from countries as far as Myanmar, Germany and England becoming New Zealand citizens. And in Richmond, another 28 did the same, with 24 of those from the UK, 2 from Australia and another 2 from Europe. Many of those had already lived in the region for many years and had become fully integrated into their communities, some coming from as far as Murchison to be there. School groups were involved in both the ceremonies, along with the local kaumātua offering a welcome blessing at the beginning of each ceremony. Early this week, Mainland intern Carly Danner asked Area Commander Inspector Steve Greeley about an open day planned to be held on the weekend as part of a national police event.
So we're here with Inspector Steve Greeley speaking about the police opening day. Thank you for speaking with us today, Steve.
Not a problem at all.
Got planned for opening day?
Yeah, it's a very good question, actually, quite a bit. I think this is a national open day, so the whole country's doing this on the 14th of this month. Nelson is going to have theirs at the Nelson Central Station. It's going to be between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m, so it gives people a good chance to get out here. It's a chance for us to engage with the community. It's not just attending jobs, which is what people usually sort of have their interaction with police. It's more about, hey, we're all people. We have a service to provide, so people can come in and see exactly what we do. So some of the things that we're going to be having will include our Armed Offenders Squad. We'll be doing a display. Our dog section will also do a display. There will be opportunities for young kids to go into our cell block, get a photo taken in a police cell, which could be interesting for them. But their parents take a bit of a photo. They can come out and get another photograph as if they were being arrested, so they get their little photograph on a template. They can have their fingerprints taken and they can get a set of that. There'll be badges, face painting, all sorts of things, junior detective quizzes for the kids, so it should be quite good. Our CIB, our detectives, will also do a bit of a display on serious crime. We'll also have a obstacle course for some people to have a crack at, and this is the police obstacle course that we have to go through, but it'll be much more user-friendly. There's 5 obstacles, and at the end of it, there's a 40-metre sprint, I understand, where young fellas can figure out how fast they can run with our radar guns. So that'll be quite interesting for them. So there's quite a bit going on, really. It's going to be quite a large day. We'll also have our partner agencies here, and those partner agencies, things like victim support, big brothers, big sisters, they'll have a sausage sizzle and all sorts of things. So I'm really looking forward to the day. I think it's going to be a great day, and I think the last time we got about 3,000 people who turned up, which was a really, really good thing for Nelson, so it'll be great. But with the dogs, come down and have a look at that, because everybody loves the police dogs. They're awesome things, and are great members of our team. And we've got number 2 dog in New Zealand. He's the best, second best in the country. And they'll be put through their paces as well, so people can see how that goes as well, so it'll be great.
When can we head out to this opening day? What time? Where?
Yeah, well, it's this Saturday. It's from 10 a.m. through to 2 p.m, so it's a 4-hour window, so that gives a lot of people a good chance to get down there and have a look. Of note, though, is we're going to close a few roads off right around the station here, so parking will be on Hardy Street and a little bit further out, but still a very easy walk to get to this place. It'll be good. Look forward to seeing people here.
Right, well, thank you so much. I know us at Mainland TV will definitely come out to this opening day.
Great stuff.
2 students at Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology are now the recipients of the New Zealand King Salmon Scholarships. The winners, Shanae Muirhead of Nelson and George Faulkner of Takaka, are currently working for their diplomas in aquaculture, the first and only aquaculture diploma program in the country. The King Salmon Scholarships are meant to assist the students financially through their studies while strengthening their knowledge in aquaculture. King Salmon Freshwater Manager John Bailey says he believed there was unrealised potential at the top of the South Island and that in order for it to grow, we need to develop the next generation of people with the technical skills, knowledge and the ability to engage in rational debate about future sustainability. NMIT's Chief Executive Tony Gray says it was great to have new sponsors like King Salmon supporting the students of NMIT. The school's aquaculture program began back in 2010 and has already produced graduates working in places like Mount Cook Alpine Salmon and even New Zealand King Salmon. For further information about NMIT's aquaculture programs and scholarships, you can visit the NMIT website. And now we have intern Raj Agarwal reporting on problems at the Motueka Bridge.
The Motueka Community Board has said that urgent action is needed by the New Zealand Transport Authority to address the Motueka Bridge vulnerability since the storm event at Easter. In a meeting held this week, the problem was discussed after a report from board member Richard Horrell stated that he had heard that there had been a buildup of logs against the bridge, which had caused the bridge to shake. Concerns for the bridge's welfare stem from its importance to the Motueka region as the entrance to the Golden Bay settlements north of the river and to the whole Motueka township. The Tasman District Council engineer inspected the bridge at the time of the flooding and said that the event had caused the bridge to shudder. TDC's transportation manager Gary Clark said council staff dealing with the event on Good Friday were on the Motueka Bridge checking it for debris and water height. This structure is an NZTA asset and council staff were interested because of lifelines and seeing the flood in the Motueka River as it was the largest we have had for some time. NZTA have been informed of the issue that we saw and it is up to them how they want to deal with the matter. Mr. Horrell has asked the community board to push for all the design, costings, and any land purchases for the erection of a new bridge to complete it as soon as possible should the funding become available. Could be built quickly. He said the 2010 report paid for by NZTA entitled Motueka Transport Study gives all the options and pros and cons of the various routes through the township. There will have to be community consultation undertaken as the best route, but he said the community board needs to continue to push for progress to be made with NZTA. A decision by the board was made to write a letter to NZTA expressing their grave concerns and hand it on to the ward councillors, who would then present it to council's next meeting with NZTA. The letter would urge bridge design to go into pipeline to kickstart the process.
Excitement is building for the upcoming Nelson Arts Festival, especially with the news that the Man Booker Prize winner Eleanor Catton will be in attendance. The young New Zealand writer, famed for her masterpiece The Luminaries, will speak at the festival, with tickets expected to sell out very fast. The festival runs from October 16th to October 27th, with the full program set to be launched in August. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom 146 Tahunanu Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
FAV Mobile Solutions are the scooter, walker and wheelchair specialists for the Nelson region. Call in and see the huge range available. Take one for a free test drive and pick up your free booklet guide. They also provide a rescue service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. Come in and see Robin and the friendly team at FAV Mobile Solutions in the Richmond Free Car Park opposite the Old Town Hall.
Discover the Belgrove Tavern just 20 minutes south of Richmond on State Highway 6 for meals, functions, weddings, barbecues and garden bar with lots of room for kids. Come and see us.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
New Zealand under-20 skipper Simon Hickey has been ruled out for the rest of the Junior World Cup Championship after suffering a high ankle sprain. The Blues' first five, who was limped off the field during Thursday's 54-7 win over Scotland in pool play, is expected to be sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks. Tasman's David Havili has been called into Junior World Cup as a replacement for skipper Simon Hickey. The 19-year-old former Nelson College student and Nelson RFC utility back can cover the first five wing and fullback positions.
Hi, I'm Carly Danner, and this is this week's Notices. The Cosmodome Planetarium presents a unique Matariki night sky presentation. Sit back under the stars and see the Matariki like never before. Learn how to find this beautiful star cluster with an experienced astronomy presenter and see why it is so important in our culture today. The event will be held on Saturday, 21st of June, with 30-minute shows between 12 and 6 at the Victory Community Center on Tatara Street. Tom Cruise's latest action movie, Edge of Tomorrow, will be showing during the movie fundraiser at the Sutter on June 20th for the Nelson College Girls Sailing Team. Tickets are $15 and doors open at 6:45 p.m. and the movie at 7:30 p.m. For tickets, phone 548-5695. Monaco Midwinter Marathon is coming soon. Start at the Monaco Domain and follow the cycle way out to Rabbit Island, loop Rabbit Island, and return for a total distance of 42.2 kilometers. All runners and walkers are welcome. No entry fee, but a donation to the Mental Health Foundation is appreciated. Walkers start at 8 a.m., runners start at 9 a.m. Pre-registration will be available at the Shoe Clinic at Bridge Street on Saturday, 21st of June from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Deep End is Nelson's improvised comedy show at the Theatre Royale. Take a team of intrepid improvisers, plunge them into a whirlpool of audience suggestions, and see if they sink or swim. You'll be in for a great night of comedy in the style of Whose Line Is It Anyway? The show starts Friday, June 20th at 10 p.m. and is for all ages. Richmond will host big screen movies and old-time dance, cooking demonstrations, fashion parades, street sport exhibitions, and fitness classes to entice people to come out of winter hibernation. The Winter Eruption Festival celebrates all things winter and is scheduled to take place between the 23rd and the 29th of June. For information, phone 03-543-8400. And that's your latest for the news sources for this week.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thanks for joining us. We'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom, 146 Tahunani Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
Nelson Tire Centre, great prices, great service.
Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.